Division III's winningest basketball program is back in the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2012. The 28-2 Tigers will meet Mount Union, the top-ranked team in the Great Lakes, Friday evening in Alliance, with a trip to Fort Wayne on the line. Joining me this evening is the head coach of the Wittenberg Tigers, Matt Croci. Coach, thanks again for your time this evening.
Hey, no problem, Ryan. Thanks for having me on.
Coach, let's start with this past weekend. An 83-66 win over Allegheny Mountain Collegiate Conference champions La Roche. You follow it up on Saturday with a 77-73 win over a defiant Susquehanna squad that really refused to go away in that second round. Talk about your performances this past weekend.
Yeah, I think that was obviously a big weekend for us. We've been in the NCAA tournament for a couple years now, and we've got a lot of experience there, but have not been able to kind of break through the second round. So, I thought preparation throughout the week was really good. Our guys were really focused, and, you have to prepare a little bit for the two teams that you could possibly play on Saturday so that you're a little bit ready if you're fortunate enough to advance to that second game. And I thought our guys were prepared, and La Roche does some things that cause some challenges on the defensive end for us that I thought we dealt with and handled pretty well. And then Susquehanna presents a completely different set of challenges with how they play and their style and kind of the amount of pressure that they put on not only physically but mentally. So I was really proud of our guys for kind of trying to, stay calm and execute, be disciplined when you got guys that are, really relentless and put forth a lot of effort. So we're really proud of our effort to get through the last weekend.
You mentioned it a little bit early on there. Your previous two trips to the NCAA tournament ended prematurely in the second round. Maybe talk a little bit more in detail about maybe mentally getting over that hump, not just you, but your players, and the feeling in that locker room after that win Saturday. You get the opportunity to continue playing, being together as a group for another week when most teams this time of year are already finished.
Yeah, I mean, if we look back a little bit at the previous 2 years, the teams that we lost to were fantastic basketball teams and advanced, well beyond our game. So we certainly didn't feel bad about who we lost to. 2 years ago, you lose to Oshkosh, they go all the way to the national championship game. Last year we lose, basically a road game to Guilford, who wins another game after us. So we certainly didn't lose to a bad team. We don't feel bad about either of those losses from a competition standpoint. So, we knew that we just, use our experience and stay calm. It's one thing to have it in the back of your mind that you want to extend the season farther than what you've done in the past. But if that's all that's motivating you, then sometimes you can get wound too tight and put a little bit too much pressure on yourself. So we just wanted to stay focused on Friday and then stay focused on Saturday and let the guys really kind of live in the moment and turn them loose and let them go play.
Yep.
Feel like we've got a really good basketball team, a lot of talented guys. And last thing we need is them playing, tense or to not lose instead of really to go play and win. And so I thought we did that really well. And, it's a really close group. They really like being around each other. I really like being around them. And they're a fun group to go to practice with every day. And so the bonus is that we get to extend the season and be around each other more and keep working on our craft.
Connor Seipel has been a workhorse for you all season, and this past weekend was no different. 33 points, 14 rebounds for the senior from Columbus. Talk about Connor and how he's been a leader this year for this team in his senior season.
I mean, Connor's been fantastic all throughout. I mean, really, Connor's been kind of our workhorse for 4 years at some level. We really played through him quite a bit, and he's added pieces to his game every single year. He's gotten bigger and stronger, faster, added some offensive things. So, it's really a luxury for our guys to be able to have him on the court, throw the ball into him. We play through him. I don't think that's a secret to anybody that watches us play, that we're going to give him a lot of opportunities. And really, out of our 30 games this year, he's probably been double-teamed. 24, 25 of those games, he's been double-teamed at some point. So he's had to deal with a lot of a lot of attention. I think he's handled it well. It can get frustrating when you're getting double-teamed a lot, but he's just kind of stayed with the process. And, again, it's a luxury for the guys on the floor. It settles them. It settles our team when you've got a guy you can throw the ball to. He's, 4-year career, 68% field goal percentage over 4 years, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So to have a guy like that on the floor is just fantastic for our guys.
Yeah, and in many ways, Jake Bertimus has been the straw that stirs your guys' drink this season. He's your leading minutes guy on the floor. He's averaging 13.5 points per game offensively, but he also distributes the basketball well. And, he's a tough defender as well. Talk about Jake and how you've seen him develop over these last 4 years into the complete player that he is on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, Jake's just one of those guys that's an incredibly hard worker, and so as a coach, when you're fortunate enough to have one of the best players also be your hardest worker, that's a fantastic thing, and certainly I don't take that for granted. So Jake is every single year added pieces to his game on both ends of the floor. We've moved him around offensively. We've moved him around defensively. He will do whatever we ask him to do. And then certainly this year has kind of stepped up as in kind of the number one defender. He's going to take on the toughest matchup that we have going into every game. And he not only accepts it, but relishes that opportunity and has thrived in that role for us. Mm-hmm. And so, you worry sometimes as a coach when you're asking, a really talented offensive player to take on a lot more defensive responsibility, how that's going to affect his offense. But I don't think it's really affected him all that much. He's gotten to be so experienced as to when to pick and choose his spots while he's playing, fantastic defense. I mean, certainly he makes us go on both ends of the floor.
Well, Coach, now to the challenge in front of you. You guys are packing up, getting ready to make the trip this evening out to Alliance. You take on Mount Union Friday night in a battle between two D3 Hoops top 10 teams nationally and the top two teams in the Great Lakes this season. And a trip to Fort Wayne's on the line. What have you seen this week in film from the Purple Raiders?
Well, I mean, they're incredibly skilled and balanced on the offensive end. They've obviously got three terrific guards that can score at all three levels of the floor. Mm-hmm. Offensively, they can get you in transition. They can play half court. They can attack the rim. They shoot the ball from the 3-point line really well. So, they're one of the most skilled teams that we will play, if not the most skilled team offensively that we will have played all year. And put a lot of pressure on you in a lot of different ways. So we're, kind of watching film and trying to get a sense of what they do, where they do it, who they play through, how they like to play, and all that, and see if we can put a plan together for our guys.
When you look at the things that you guys do well, you're north of 80 points per game. You're a +5 team on the boards. You're only turning it over 10 times a game. What has been your emphasis in practice this week, and what are you guys going to have to execute well against Mount Union if you're going to be successful Friday?
Well, I mean, honestly, we're just going to have to be who we are. I think at this point in the year, we've gotten to the second weekend in March. What we've done since October 15th has been good enough to get 28 wins and win our league and get to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. So we focused a lot on ourselves, doing what we do offensively well, being crisp and executing well, and then, being in a stance and guarding the way we want to guard. And so I think for us, it's again, just being ourselves. We don't turn the ball over a lot. We rebound the ball well. I think we're a pretty good team defensively. So we're not going to beat ourselves, and I'm knocking on wood on my desk right now that won't change. But, I think we've been pretty solid in most areas this year. And, we're just going to kind of be who we are and play hard and hope it's good enough to get things done on Friday.
With the national title game being moved to Atlanta this year to be played in conjunction with the Division I Final Four, this weekend is a standalone game on the schedule. Traditionally, you've had 3 weekends of 2 games. Talk about the impact that change has had on on you and your coaching staff only needing to prepare for one team as opposed to needing a profile on three? And do you personally prefer the format this year with the 2-week break before the national title game? Do you prefer the traditional format we've seen in the past?
Well, I mean, in terms of the format, until those two teams get to deal with a 2-week break, I'm not sure, you really know what you're dealing with, right? So, From this week's standpoint, I certainly think it allows you when you're only preparing for one team, and you've got 5-6 days to do that. Basketball teams and coaches are used to playing, Wednesdays and Saturdays for the most part. We're playing a couple of games a week, so you're used to practicing a couple days and playing a game. Mm-hmm. Turnarounds are quick. You've got to be pretty precise in practice and your film prep and scouting and things like that. So, I think one of the things that we tried to guard against this week is we certainly want to dive as deep as we can into Mount Union, but we got to be careful about going too far down the rabbit hole and getting away from, what we want to do, which is just be ourselves, like I said earlier. And,
mm-hmm.
I just think you got to be careful of looking for things and over-coaching and over-scouting. And there's some things that they do really well. We want to identify those and prepare for them, and then, really kind of wind our guys up throughout the course of the week so that when we're ready to tip off on Friday, we're ready to kind of turn them loose and they're ready to go.
Well, Coach, there's no program that can claim the wins and tradition that Wittenberg has. It kind of feels right for this Tiger program to be here deep in that conversation, deep into the NCAA tournament. Are there any final thoughts from you this evening?
No, I think our guys are ready for the challenge, and we're excited to play. I think when you get to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament, all the teams that are left are really good basketball teams. They're well coached. There's great individual players that are left, and so whatever it is, 420 some Division III men's basketball programs start in October to be one of the last 16. We're pretty excited to keep playing.
Yeah, well, Coach, as always, thanks for your time. Safe travels tonight, and best of luck to the Tigers this weekend.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it.